I think today's 30 over participants. Yep. Okay. Cameroon. Wow. Wow. Okay. I think we're just a little bit longer before we begin. Hi guys. Hi guys. Okay, thank you. Sorry, we'll wait just a little bit longer before we begin, please. So this meetup is streamed on the both Zoom and YouTube. So we have people joining from many different countries and the time zones today. That's also why we usually use UTC for the schedule, just to make things easier for everyone. So, and yeah, hello everyone, Danielle. Mm-hmm. Okay. How many people are 15? 15. Mm-hmm. What time? 7. Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you everyone for waiting. Let's get started. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm really happy that we can spend this time together with people from so many different places around the world. And of course, a big thank you to all of our speakers for sharing their time stories and experiences with us today. So we have a wonderful lineup with different backgrounds, ideas, and perspectives. And I'm really excited for all the sessions ahead. So I hope today gives you something valuable, maybe a new idea, a new connection, or simply a fun and inspiring moment. So, and please feel free to use the chat during the meet up. So say hello, share your thoughts, or connect with each other anytime. So let's make this a warm and open space together. So, and now before we begin, so today's sessions, I'd like to start with a short opening talk from myself. So, just quick introduction. I started this community to help people connected, not only through AWS and technology and beyond that as well. So now I co-organize this meetup with Yuki, and we are really happy to grow this community together with all of you. So, and if or you ever like to speak or get involved, please feel free to reach out anytime. Now let me introduce today's speakers. So we have four wonderful speakers joining us today, and Mahendra, Sankalap, Shabi, and Lion. So some are returning speakers, and some are joining us for the first time. So I'm really happy to have this mix of people and perspectives together. So they are joining from different countries and time zones, which is one of my favorite parts of this community. So we will follow the order shown on this slide. Um, Also, there are maybe small small changes and depending on the situation. So each sessions will be around 20 minutes, including a short um, translation between speakers, and after each talk, I may share a quick comment or question. Of course, we'd also love to hear your thoughts. So please feel free to use the chat anytime during the meetup. So, before we continue, just a quick announcement. So you can join in this meetup on either Zoom or YouTube, whichever is more comfortable for you. So, and if you'd like, please feel free to share your thoughts on X using the hashtag AWS Global Community. So you can also use the Zoom chat and time during the meetup. So we love for this to be an interactive and a friendly space. So please feel free to join in the conversation. So just one small request. During the sessions, please keep your microphone mute. And most importantly, let's be respectful and kind to each other. So I hope we can keep this space warm, safe, and welcoming for everyone, right? So, how many of you joining us for the first time today? So, thank you. So, and if you've joined us before, welcome back, and thank you for being here again. So, I always like to share this part because it's something very important to our community. So this is place where people from different countries, right? So backgrounds and experiences and can come together to learn, connect it, and grow together. So it's not about having the perfect answer. So sometimes one small idea, one conversation, or one connection can become something meaningful later. So AWS and the technology bring us together. But for me, the real center of this community is people. So and we always welcome the first-time speakers and the new participants too. So um, I hope this can be a safe, a friendly, and comfortable places for everyone to share and connect it again. Thank you. So next. Before we continue, just a quick announcement about our upcoming meetup. So we'll have many wonderful speakers joining us from around the world again in June and July. And I'm really excited for the next few months. So, and for August and beyond, we're currently looking for more speakers. So whether it's your first time speaking or you already have experience, uh, everyone is very welcome here. So please save the dates joining us again. And if you're interested in speaking, feel free to send me a message anytime. So I really love to connect with you. And just one more quick note. We host this meetup every month, so I hope today won't be just a one-time connection. So please scan the QR code to stay connected and check out our upcoming events. And of course, if you ever feel like speaking or sharing something in the future, please feel free to connect me anytime again. So I hope to see many of you again next month too. Let's keep growing this community together. So, let's keep growing this community together. All right, now let's get started with today's session. Thank you. So, please join me in welcome our first speaker, Mahendra. Mahendra, the
Hello. Mm,
hello. I'm ready.
Yep, I'm ready. I think you have disabled that screen sharing. Could you please
Thank,
enable that one?
thank you. Uh, just moment. Share. Oh, I'm changing config.
Yep.
Config. Okay, can you try again?
Yep. Yep. Now I can.
No,
Mm, Just let me know once you are able to see my screen.
oh, busy desktop view.
So you can able to see my screen, correct?
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Uh, so first of all, thanks for the opportunity, Hiromi. So thank you for the opportunity again. So in that next 45 minutes, what we are going to discuss, because the incident. So because we are facing issues with that midnight 2 o'clock. So we are getting that CloudWatch alarm. So when the CloudWatch alarm pumps up, so we'll get that laptop and we'll logging in that and find that particular log and analyze that what happened in that particular application, why the application got down, and why we are facing that particular issue. So we do lot of the things correct. So in the things what we need to do, so we will take some time to analyze that particular things. So in that case, the AWS launched that agent, the AI-based agent, AWS DevOps agent. So in the next 45 minutes, we will see about that how we can configure the AWS DevOps agent, how it will be useful, how we can integrate that AWS DevOps agent to the services. All things we will see in that next 45 minutes. I mean next 20 minutes. So I am Mahendran Selvakumar. I work senior cloud and DevSecOps engineer at Tata Consultancy Services, and also I'm one of the AWS community builder and user group leader and IBM champion, and also that AWS ambassadors. And we also hosting meetups in that AWS user group West Midlands and also that AWS user group Tripchi. So if you want to speak in about that AWS technology, so you can ping me as well. So what is AWS DevOps agent? So it's that frontier agent. So that's it's a name only in that frontier agent. So but that in that technical terms, it analyze it will analyze that particular issues and why we are facing the issues and how we can resolve that particular issues. All the things will be we can do via that DevOps agent. So we don't need to do with that manual checks and manual configuration, all the things, because in the particular DevOps agent do all the things based on that. Based on that configuration. So why we are using that AWS DevOps agent? Because it works as that always an autonomous on call engineers like that. So when the particular application got down or issues, so it's start that investigating and well that whether it should be in the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, because we don't need to trigger the particular agents, because it's automatically trigger agent whenever we get that alert, so it automatically trigger that particular agent. And also it analyze that root causes as well. So what are the changes it's happened, so what are the is there any issues with that resource limit or component failure or dependency issues. So it's find out all the things. And also it reduce the MTTR as well, because if we look that particular MTTR, so we need to take the time, correct? So we need to analyze all the logs, we need to analyze all the application configurations, what we changed, what it's configured on. We need to do all the things. But in that AWS DevOps engine, it do all the things, and it autonomous investigate that it autonomously investigate all the things and provide that. Reports as well. And also so we can able to route that findings as well with that Slack or ServiceNow and Pager2T. And we have a lot of the external tools, and then we can integrate that particular external tool as well, because based on that organization, some of the organization using the ServiceNow, some of the organization using the Slack, some of the organization use the Pager2T, correct? We can integrate that AWS device agent to that particular organization tool as well. So there are three core benefits when we use that AWS DevOps agent, because AWS DevOps agent resolves that issues quickly, and also that it proactively prevent that incident. Because if something changed in that particular configurations, it should proactively prevent that incident. And also that it will do that untapped operational insights, because it works as the 24 into 7, correct? In the, when we in the autonomous agent sense, when the particular alert triggers, so it's at the time, so it finalize that root cause analysis. And after that it understand that what are the dependencies we need to configure, what are the resource relationship, what are the topologies we can configure. So it will resolve that issues quickly. And also that it give that historical events, correct? So because based on the historical incidents, it will analyze that historical incidents. And also based on the historical incident and what based on the fix, so it will do that it will do the recommendation. And also what are the key areas we can takes, like that observability, infrastructure optimization, and deployment pipeline, and all the things it will be taken care. And also we can integrate with that whole things with that observability tools like that Dynatrace and CloudWatch and Attack. And also we can integrate with that GitHub Packs. And not only in the tools, we can integrate with our own MCP server as well, because nowadays most of the organizations configure the MCP servers, correct? So we can integrate with that MCP servers as well. So the next thing is that integration and ecosystem. As I said earlier, so we have the lot of the tools in that market for the observability, CI/CD, and communication and the ticketing as well. So all the tools we can integrate with that. Our AWS DevOps agents, for in that observability case, we can use that Dynatrace, Datadog, and also that getting the GitHub Action and Slack. And we can use all the services, and we can use all the tools to integrate with that particular AWS DevOps agent. And apart from that, we can integrate with our own MCP server as well. So and we will show you how we saw so how it's integrated, correct? And we need to know so how it investigates, because we have that AWS DevOps agent. It doesn't know about our infrastructure, how it investigate, because first it will learn our infrastructure, because based on when you run that, when you configure that AWS DevOps agent, when you provide that investigation steps, what it will do, it will learn your infrastructure where based on that cloud formation and CDK stacks, and also the resource tags. So because if you are using the Terraform, it will use the resource tags as the main things, because it will build the it will build the relationship, and it will find out the relationship of how the configuration is mapped and all the things. Once it's find out that once it's learned that particular infrastructure, then it will observe that one. So once observe that what are the codes we have used, how the deployment will be happening, so what are the observability tools using, what are the repos we are using, it all observe all the things, and based on that observation it will provide that investigation actually, because why the particular issues will be happening and why the systems will be changing, so what are the changes will be happening, when the changes will be happening, so what are the resource limits we configured, so how the resource limits we can improve, all the things will be investigated, because based on that all the details it's act as that it will work, so because whenever the issues occur, and also that it will prevent that issues as well, because it's find out the root causes, and it will provide the mitigation steps, and also that it will provide that recommendations based on that investigation as well. So the next one is that, as I said earlier, because there are four key areas, correct? So one is that observability, and another one is that infrastructure optimization, and another one is the deployment pipeline, and application resilience. So in that case, first it will find out that recommend gaps in that monitoring and alerting perspective, and also that some of the resources doesn't have the CloudWatch log groups, and also some of the resources doesn't have that monitoring enabled, correct? So it will provide that observability as well, and also it will give the recommendation of infrastructure or resource recommendation as well, because some of the resources we have configured with that high sizes, and also that it will find out that auto scaling as well, and it will fine tune that particular environment as well. And the next one is the deployment pipeline. In the deployment pipeline, so we can add that particular smoke test to that particular pre-deployment, and also that we can it automatically recommend that canary deployments, because so some of the cases we will face that blast radius, correct? So to reduce the blast radius, it will provide that canary deployment, and also that it will give that application resilience as well, because what are the guardrails we can use, how we can how we can reduce that circuit breaker and retail logic, and how we can reduce that external service outage. It's all the things will be given based on the historical incidents, because it all the things will be validated based on the historical incidents. The next one is that use cases. What are the use cases? It will be, because as I said earlier, is because these will be used for incident and response and resolution, and also that automated incident coordination, and also the prevent the future incidents, because it automatically triggers the incidents whenever that autonomously it triggers incidents. It automatically get that data and investigate and provide that sort of solutions, correct? Because it won't apply that particular solution. We need to apply the solution, but it will provide that steps. So what are the things, root causes, what are the changes we need to find, what are the resource limits, and also that it will provide that automated incident coordination as well, and also that it will provide that future incident as well. So the next thing is that key features of the AWS DevOps agent, because as I said earlier, so this is a always an autonomous incident response, and also it will prevent that future incident, and also that we can integrate that particularly in that other tools, because some of the tools we are using in that organizations, we can integrate the tool as well. We can use that MCP tools, and now they have we can chat with that particular conversational, the natural language useful, because using the natural language we can ask the particular DevOps agent to check that root causes, check that particular why these things is not working, why we are getting that error, why we are getting that particular resource utilization, and all things we can get it using the natural language. That there is a new feature I mean created from that AWS, because the AWS DevOps agent chat, because earlier once they announced that it will provide that particular give it but it's particularly give that particular report. So what are the issues we'll have, so what are the investigation reports, what are the root causes, what are the mitigations we need to follow, all the things will be given. Sorry. Now AWS DevOps agent, what it will be, it will provide that chat like that chat GPT or cloud desktop. So because we can integrate that particular AWS DevOps agent, so you can naturally check that, so why we are facing issues with that particular services, why I'm getting the alert from that particular resources, and what should be the best recommendation for that resource utilization, and it's all things we can able to do with that AWS DevOps agents. I will go through the I will show that how the AWS DevOps agent chat will be working. So I will show that as well. And not only in that particular in the particular account, so it will work with that cross account topology as well, and we can get that conversation history and for the follow-ups and all the things we can able to do with the AWS DevOps agent chat. So on the benefit perspective, as I said, so because it will reduce the MTTR, and it will prevent that recurring incident, and also that it improve that operational efficiency, and also that it works with that existing workflow. Yeah, for example, we are using that existing workflow with that some other tools, correct? We don't need to disturb the tools. For example, we are using the service now for the incident and incidents monitoring and the ticketing tool, so we don't need to disturb that particular workflows, because we can integrate that particular tools, and then we can integrate with that particular AWS DevOps agent to the service now, or based on that resources, based on that organization. Then we don't need to disturb that particular existing workflow as well. And autonomous, and as I said earlier, so it improve that operational efficiency as well, because we don't need to wait for that particular investigate and all things, based on the time, so we can investigate the repetitive task, and we can focus on the how to improve that particular task issues, on how we can issues, how we can mitigate that manual issues as well. So in the demo, I will show that how we can configure that AWS DevOps agent. See, this is a AWS DevOps agent. So when you have that AWS DevOps agent, you need to create that agent space. In that agent space, you need to give that particular name, and also that what is which language you are going to use, like the based on your own logic, own language you can give, because based on the language you can integrate, you can chat with our AWS DevOps agent chat, and also you can create the particular AWS DevOps agent role, and also you can able to web app. Because why we are using the web app, so in that based on the web app we can integrate, we can check with the chat as well, because in the chat uh, I mean we interact with that particular AWS DevOps agent, and also in that advanced you can able to configure that encryption as well. So in this case, I already configured the AWS DevOps, I mean DevOps agent demo agent space. In the agent space, I have used that particular AWS, only one AWS account, because I didn't configure any other AWS accounts. If I have, I can configure the AWS account. And also I didn't integrate any I mean telemetry sources like the Dynatrace or Datadog or Grafana, because if we want, we can configure as well. And also then in that pipeline perspective, I didn't configure anything with the GitHub Actions or GitLab or Azure DevOps, because as of now it's configured with that only that I basic configuration. And of communication perspective, you can, as I said, so you can configure that pager duty, service node, Slack, and all the things you can able to configure. So, and if you want to configure with that MCP server, so you can configure that MCP server as well. So based on the things, you can integrate that one. So if you want a webhook, so you can able to configure. So in our case, I have configured that particular AWS DevOps agent space. Once you configure that agent space, how you can access, you can able to access a web app link, correct? So in the based on the web app link, if you go there, so it will be open that particular agent space. So in that agent space, you can interact with it. So what are the issues will be happening, give me a health summary, and those things you can able to check. And in our case, because I already run two investigation, because I have created one EKS website. In the EKS website, so that it's currently it shows that 500 error, correct? It's purposefully I have make that as a error, and based on that error, so I ask that particular AWS DevOps agent to investigate. See, based on that investigate, see, it will provide that all that it investigate everything. It's provide that observation. Why I am not running these things in the current, because it will take 15 to 20 minutes. That's why I have created that particular one. So if I click the generate that mitigation plan, it will create that mitigation plan as well. So how we can mitigate that error. So in the future, if I facing that issues, how we can mitigate that error, and it will provide the root causes. Okay, see, the particular website having that five errors, correct? 500 error. So in that error rate, why we are facing that error? But the root cause is that particular Terraform destroyed the recreate the particular RDS cluster with the misconfigured security groups, because, and also it changed the credentials. So that's what we are getting the error. And also it will provide that Terraform Helm update as well. See, if you see here, it will provide that two observations. One is related to the Terraform destroy and recreate, and another one is that RDS security group block all node traffics. The same like that, it will provide that key findings, and also that investigation. So investigation gaps is that, so because we didn't configure the container inside in that particular EKS cluster, that's what it's provided that particular error as well. See what we can do. So if for example, if I give that summarize the investigation, for example, if I give that summarize the investigation, what it will do, the DevOps agent is get that particular investigation. Based on that investigation, it will provide that summarization as well. See, it will try to fetching all the details of the investigation, and it will provide the details as well. See, it will provide, it will check everything. The same like that, I have another incident, because it was taken earlier. See, if you see here, it has its it doesn't have that particular investigation, because it has only the catalog part persistent cross loop error, and also that RDS security group. See, why the order part has been persistent cross loop back off, and what the issues will be happen. See, these things will be based on the investigation, because that this is what the particular AWS DevOps agent will be doing. See, now we asked to summarize the investigation, correct? Based on the investigation, it will provide that it will running, and also in that mitigation plan, it will try to get that mitigation plan as well. So this is what happening. See, it will provide it's provide that particular error. So why we are facing that error, and also that what are the changes, root causes identified, what are the current symptoms, and why the issues will be happening, and what is the remediations, because we need to restore the security group, and also we fix the database credential, because we saw that, correct, the particular database credential will be changed, that the issues will be covering. So we need to fix all these things. First we need to restore that security group, and also see, and also it's provide the mitigation plan as well. So we need to get that mitigation, and also we need to pre-validate, and also if you apply that particular commands, it's once apply the particular commands, the security group will be applied, and also that if we the restore that particular network connectivity, and also the post validation, we can able to do all the things. See, it's give that all the commands, and also that it's give that all the values to the command. That's what AWS DevOps agents will be working. So in the key takeaways, because the AWS DevOps agents investigate and recommend certain because, and particularly still human execution is needed, because it automatically fix that issues. It will provide the recommendation, and it will provide that investigation, but it won't fix that issues automatically. The particular on-call engineer should still needed that particular apply that particular fixes. And based on the AWS person, the main thing is that the agent is only good for the context, because we need to provide the context like that topology, how the runbook will be working, and we need to provide the capabilities result. Based on that only, the agent is provide the good context, because if you see here, it's if you see that particular things, you can able to see that. So how many contexts will be used for that investigation? See, it will be used for the skills, and it will be used for the sub agent, and also it used for the tools, and also all the things will be used for to investigate particular root cases. Okay, so next thing is the chart interface, because we can integrate that particular chat. We can get that particular recommendation and all the things as well. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining the calls. If anybody wants to learn more about the DevOps engine, I'm happy to connect as well. And one more thing is that I forgot to say that the pricing, because the pricing based on that investigate response, based on the investigation, incident response, and incident prevention, or chart based, and in that, based on that one, we will get that first 2 months preview section, because in that free tier. So after 2 months you will be charged. So based on that one, so we can have that particular credits as well, AWS credits as well, you can use, and based on that one. So thank you, everyone. So if you're not connected in LinkedIn, so I'm happy to connect, and I thank you again for the opportunity, Hiromi. Anybody have any questions? I will that.
Thank you, Mahendra. Thank you for such a hot and important topic. Thank you. So I needed to know costs, right? So I think many team want to prevent incidents and more proactively, and also in smarter and more efficient way. And in real environments, combining services like CloudWatch with other tools is becoming more and more important. And so, of course, integrate too. I have one question for you. So, quick request for you. So, as a DevOps engineer, What advice would you give to beginner engineers? So especially in this fast changing era, what do you think is important to keep running and growing?
See, the thing is, so because so nowadays we are living with that AI, correct? Instead of human, we are living with AI. Because we are every day we hear the word AI is in the workplace, in that cafeteria, in that coffee shop, all the places we hear about it AI because the business also growing up with that AI because in that case, so first we need to find out that fundamental of DevOps because the tools and that how the DevOps will be working. So now that market will be changed to that AI ops, ML ops, and all the things will be that the core structure is the same because we will run that agent, we'll run that particular AI product in that Kubernetes or those things. That will
Yep.
be common for everything. So first you understand that core platforms like that Kubernetes, AWS. If you are a beginner with that AWS DevOps engineer, so once you learn those things, then it will be easy to learn that upcoming changes like that. Every day in even AWS also releasing the lot of the services they were providing the lot of the updates each week, each day as well. Because we don't once we got that particular basic structure, basic standard, then we don't need to worry about that particular things. Because so first build your foundation with that DevOps, cloud, and that Kubernetes. So
Mhm.
once you build a strong foundation, then you don't need to worry about that A. So parallelly, you can try start learn with that A, how you can apply that A with your current infrastructure, how you can deploy the projects, create the projects, own projects because we have a lot of the open source tools as well. For Kubernetes, you don't need to have pay for that like AWS or something. You can create that kind cluster or K3s clusters in your local laptop and build that application and how you can configure with that Istio, how you can build that application with that Helm. So those things you can get it easily and you can integrate with that open source tools Argo CD and Flux CD. So you can integrate all these. Once you get the confident with that full, so you can able to build your own architecture like the 2 tier or 3 tiers. So once you have the confidence, then it should be good for the things because we all learn because we all hear that words and we things, but we need to apply that one. So once you apply it, once you get the practice, because even once I got that got to know about AWS DevOps agent, I got lot of the issues when while configuring. I got lot of some of the sometimes it will provide that good responses. Sometimes I'm getting that not getting the correct response because it's based on the prompt. What I'm giving the prompt, what I'm giving that particular input. It is all these things will be different. So try to learn and try to contribute in the open source projects and try to build your open source skills as well. It will be give a more confident about you and more confident about the DevOps things as well. So I because I started contributing in the open source things as well. So that's right.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's take a look at some of the other comments in chat.
Yes. I have a question. How agent can test switch hours and why not the agent able to fix? Uh, because why the agent is not fixing the incident? So for example, so still if in the AI world, still we are not trusting the AI agents, correct? We hear a lot of things of some of the AI tools or AI agents destroy that particular application, correct? So because still we are not fully confident with that AI agents. So that's why we are preparing that particular AI agents to recommendations because and also the in that fix. So some of the things we need to do it then manually, like that some of the things we add it in that purposefully as well. So yeah, in the human in the loop will be the best thing because when we configure or build any AI agents with that HALT human in the loop, that will be good to fix that incidents, because all the incidents we can't able to fix automatically. If the incidents fixes automatically, then there is no need of humans, correct? Because some of the incidents, because the agent will be give that hallucination, the agent will be give that wrong fixes as well. So that's what we need to validate every output comes from that agent.
Okay, so
Chaitanya, how does the agent handle the scenarios where it gets confident? Do you think it would be possible to build a similar DevOps agent locally using something around? It's a good question, Chaitanya. Yes, we can configure that AWS DevOps agent in local, because I built uh, before that AWS DevOps agent in the same like that in Azure we have that Azure SRE agent, correct? So the same like that. I have created own DevOps AI assistant in my local with that. I never use. I mean, sorry, I didn't use that particular Olalama, because why? Because I need to show that particular live demo for one of my talk in DevOps Live London. So for that one, I have built the a DevOps assistant. Based on the DevOps assistant, what it will be based on, I will create that some bug in that Kubernetes cluster. So my own DevOps agent, because I have created in my local. So the particular AWS DevOps, I mean particular local DevOps agent, analyze that particular fixes or bugs, and it's try to recommend the fixes. And in that case, I have configured with that one click button. So when I click that particular button, fix that issue, it's automatically fix that issue. It won't. Some of the cases I have given as a non HILT as well, because it automatically fix that issues. So it's in the any resource limits based the issues, it's automatically fix the issues. It will allow to increase that particular part sizes or memory part CPU and part memory. So but some of the security or some of the cases I have configured with that IHLT. So you can configure that in your local laptop as well. So you can build your own agentic local agents and configure that fix the DevOps related SRE.
yeah, thank you. So our next looks like a little bit hands a question. So go ahead, David.
All right, so thank you very much, Hiromi. I want to
Thank
ask
you.
this question. How are other builders approaching cost optimization for LLM or generative AI workloads on AWS?
Sorry, Charlie, I missed your question.
Yes, so how are other builders approaching cost optimization for LLM or generative AI workloads on AWS?
It's based on the need, Charlie, because for the LLMs, so most of the organization don't build the LLMs, correct? They will use that particular models and they will train that model, because they are not doing the retuning and or fine tuning that particular models. If you do that fine tuning the models, the cost will be higher and all the things, because in that instead of the fine tuning, they can train that model. I mean based on that human in the loop and based on that. There are a lot of model trainings, right? They will train the models, and I mean in that based on that one, they will train and they will analyze that what how the tokens will be using, so how we can use that particular token, and also some of the things we can use that guardrails as well. So all the things will be used to optimize that cost. Not only in that particular not only in that particular AWS or Azure. So we need to analyze that of which model is perfect for that one, what we need to get that output, what we need to provide that input, and in the prompt engineering and is the main part here. So because the prompt engineering will work because you will get the responses correct. It will give you the response, because token based on the token usage and based on that model training will be cost implicated. Sorry, you are speaking in mute.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were
Thank you
asking
very
other.
much. Thank you so much. All right, let's give Mahendra another big round. Thank you. Applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Hiromi. Thanks for the opportunity again.
Thank you. So and now let's move to next speaker. So Saklab, are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So can you use screen?
Sure. Okay, is the screen visible?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yes. Please changing speaker mode.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you, Hiromi, for this great opportunity for me to present a technical talk here in this meetup. So, a bit about me: I work as a cloud security engineer. I'm an AWS community builder. I also lead volunteer activities at AWS User Group Pune, India, and I'm also a former AWS Cloud Club captain. Uh, let's get started with this talk. What we will be covering in this is basically about the spec-driven development. What is spec-driven development? What is Amazon Kiro? Then Kiro's three-phase workflow, how you can utilize it, then the spec files, and how do you efficiently write the specs. And at last, I have recorded a demo for this session. So we'll go and see that specific demo, how Kiro works. So what is spec-driven development? So spec-driven development is basically a approach where we are using a structured specification. So what you do is that you write your requirements, your designs and tasks in a specific files, and basically it act as a prompt for your development. So in vibe coding, what it happens is basically is that you generally give a prompt to your any agentic ID, and it does some tasks. And again, you give so many prompts and it does some tasks, but there is no record of it. With this spec driven AI development, first is the explicit intent. So all the vague prompts or all the random prompts are replaced by a specific requirement.txt file, where you have version control descriptions of all the desired behavior of your application. Then these specs or these requirements act as a basically prompt to your any of the AI models. So then it reduces the hallucinations, and again your large tasks are on track. And since we are writing this, it is durable. All the decisions which you are making, those are are saved in the version control. Example in Git. Uh, that is in that way basically spec driven development help us. So how it happens. The evolution of development paradigms back a few years back in 1950s 60s, we have assembly language or machine code and manual hardware so basically it was about how it executes. Then high level languages came up. Then we had DevOps, we had assisted AI codings, vibe coding, and now basically we have spec-driven development. So Kiro is one of the popular agentic AI IDs from AWS. So what are its features? So spec-driven development, first you have prompts. Then with prompts you create requirements, you create design documents, you create tasks, and it helps you to write the code. Then it also has autopilot mode, where you have you if you have, let's say, large tasks, so you can implement them using this autopilot mode. Apart from that, Kiro has agent hooks. So you can trigger agents on file saves. Let's say on specific tests, you can run specific tests. You can create some specific documentation. You can define security policies. You can define security scans. Then there are some steering files for the AI behavior. Apart from that, you can integrate your MCP server, so you can connect databases, documents, anything with MCP servers with to Kiro. And again, you can use it as a Kiro ID, or you can also use it as a CLI support from any terminal. So how exactly work is that you have a ID, developer writes the prompt, reviews the specs and approves the output. So in the ID you do that. So Kiro has a spec engine where it generates your requirement file, design file, task file, which we'll be seeing in the further slides. After that, these files act as an artifact, and the Kiro agents basically run the tasks or run the validation hooks, and it generates your infrastructure as a code as well, and it deploys your application to AWS. So Lambda, you can deploy it on Lambda or ECS, or you can use CDK, API gateway, and these, and it's a loop. So basically after each task you have smoke test, and all the results, those are reviewed by the developer. So it is helping you to automate your development process. Okay. Okay, so now talking about three spec files. So first requirements.md. So it is required for is that we define what is to be built. So what we actually want to build, what are our requirements? So we define that in requirement.txt. And to define our requirement, there's a specific notation called years notation, which we'll see in the next slide. And basically, agent action is that it generates a different test, it maps criteria for those tasks, and all the requirements which you have, you basically write down in that specific file. Then design.md, so it defines how that specific feature or a product is going to be built. So you define the architecture, you define data flows, and whatever technology stack you are going to use. Example, you are going to use Lambda, Cognito, API Gateway, like this, if any of these stacks. And agent action would be basically, it will generate CDK stacks, it will select the service as per required design, architectural design. Now, text task.md is basically where you are defining, basically it defines the steps to how to create that architecture on AWS. Basically, it defines all its executable steps. So what happens is, let's say there is a one task where it has to create a JWT authorizer Lambda, and basically for your authentication, basically, and it will run all the tasks sequentially. It will run the hooks, and it will automate all those steps of your development lifecycle. Now, how to write uh, uh, those specific requirements clearly or in an efficient way, we can use years notification for that notation for that. So template is when a specific event occurs, then system shall be doing a specific thing, or whatever we need a response. So whenever a event is going to occur, the system shall do a specific response what we need. So let's take an example of authentication. So when an API consumer submits a valid credentials via post request to this endpoint auth login, then system shall return HTTP 200 with a signed JW token in response body. So we are defining when API consumer submits this request, then how system is going to respond. So this is one of the patterns. Again, for error handling, let's say when an API consumer submits invalid credentials via this request, it is going to make a post request to this endpoint auth login. Then system shall return with the HTTP 401 with a machine readable error code. So any of the error code like 401 would be thrown to that particular user. So you can use this specific notation, years notation, to basically write your requirements.txt. Then getting started with Kiro. So how can you do it? You can install Kiro ID. You can download it from kiro.dev/downloads. And apart from that, you can install it as a Kiro CLI. And then how the project is structured is, you have a folder, some of the folders. So first is the specs, the spec file, whatever feature name you have, and the spec files. So requirement.md, design.md, task.md. Then you have hooks. So any of the tests, if you have, you can define them. Any of the security scans, if you have, the tools, if you have to use, you can define them. And again, the steering folder where you have product, the actual idea, then the tech, what tech is going to be used in your product. So this is a general structure for any of the Kiro project, Kiro project which we want to create it. So okay, let's see the some of the videos which I have recorded as a part of demo. So this is going to be the console of Hero, where I am giving a prompt that build a secure password reset feature with the email verification. Okay, and my requirements are like email based verification token should be there. It should be of single use. Token should expire every 15 minutes, and there should be error handling where it should return invalid, expired, or already in use. And the tech which I want to use is basically to deploy it on AWS Lambda. It should use SES DynamoDB, and it should all the connections and everything should be HTTPS only, and token should be stored in DynamoDB in the hashed format. So this is my prompt which I'm going to give. Okay, now. So in this, I have given this specific prompt. And this is going to create a folder for me for the specs folder here. Let's see, this is going to create a specs folder, and it is going to create the requirements.md file. It is going to generate it. We can follow the instructions. Let's see further. So it has created a requirements.txt file. It has a glossary requirement one. It's acceptance criteria as well. So whatever feature I want to create, then it's acceptance criteria. What are the acceptance criteria? Then requirement two, then acceptance criteria, requirement three, then acceptance criteria, and the user story, basically what I actually want to do. So this is how it will create your requirements.md file, where you have defined everything, whatever features. So in this demo, we have 3 features, but you can define multiple features as per your required application. So it will ask you that, do the requirements look good, or you want to edit it? So we can also edit it, and then we can move to the design phase of it. Now, in the design phase, it is going to create the design document. So let's see what is the design document here. So first, it's about the overview. Then it creates the architecture diagram. Then what all the infrastructure components would be, what all things we are going to use in the application, then API endpoints and their responses, then Lambda functions, multiple Lambda functions, then data models, where we have for my DynamoDB database, and whatever what all error handling would be required, and testing strategy, unit test, integration test, security scans, smoke test, etc. So this is the design document, basically. So let's move to the implementation phase now. So yeah, again, it is going to ask about can we move to the implementation phase? We'll move into the implementation phase. So now we can see here that there are different tasks. So we can start the task, and for each task, what all requirement is there. So some of the tasks are optional. We can make them required if we want, as per our requirements, and it has created all those tasks in the list, which is required to generate your application. So this is going to act as a context to your LLM, so that it is going to generate the code. Okay. So again, see, it is going to ask me that some of the tasks, those are marked as optional. So do you want to include it, or do you want to keep it as optional, or whatever it is going to be according to the requirement. So let's see how it will generate the code. So it is going to set up the project structure. It is going to check the current directory if it is if it has some code. So first step is the setting up the project structure. So it is going to create directory layouts. Then it is going to define the TypeScript interfaces for reset token, user, rate limit counter. So these things it will do it in the task one. So let's move and see what it has done. So it has created a structure. Since there was no structure, it has created some of the files. It has set up package.json, uh, and we can see what all things it has done. So we just provided it with those 3 files, and LLM basically did all this things to automate the tasks. Now let's see, let's go to the task 2. So implement the DynamoDB data access layer. So it is going to implement the data access layer for us. So it is going to read some of the files, package.json, index.ts, validate.ts, these files. It is going to write src lib DynamoDB ts with typed get item, put item, update wrappers. It is going to configure tables with environment variables. So let's see how it does that. So it says foundations are in place, and let me implement 3 subtasks. So there are 3 subtasks here. It is implementing 2.1 currently about creating DynamoDB client and its table helpers. Okay, let's move to the next part. I have recorded a few of the things as compared to the whole process, and you will get an idea how Kiro is going to help you in your regular development tasks. So in the step 3, it will implement the request reset Lambda handler. So it is going to read the files first, and again, it is going to generate the code for us, and it will see the task.md file to get more context about it. So this is checking generate token and persist, send, reset email to via SCS. So all these phases would be done in this specific step. So it is going to create the code for that. Next, let's see in task 3 what it has done. So it has implemented those Lambda functions, and it has set up the SCS so we can send the reset password email, and it has written main handler. It has tried to install the npm libraries as well. It has set up rate limiting, generate token and basically generate token functions, request reset password functions, and see, two files were created. These two files were created, which is basically using AWS SDK, and it basically SCS client, which is where it reads SCS from the environment, and a request reset .ts, the Lambda function exactly. Okay, now for the task 4 is basically implement the code base and deploy it. So it is going to confirm the reset password handler, and after that it is going to generate the SAM template. So it will generate the SAM template which you can use to deploy your serverless application. You just have to use SAM build, SAM deploy, and it will deploy your application on AWS. So it will generate all the code for that specific template. So it has generated template.yaml. It declares all three DynamoDB tables, all the Lambda functions with least privilege IAM roles, because security is very important. So we should obviously write least privilege IAM policies for IAM roles. And it will just give you how to build it. So you can build it by using npm run build. Then you have to do SAM build and you have to deploy it. So it will give you prompt for the stack name, then region where you want to deploy, the domain or SCS parameters, etc. So this is how you can utilize your Amazon Kiro. We are towards the end of the session. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, and if there are any questions, I am happy to take those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarkla, for the wonderful sessions. Thank you.
Mhm.
So actually, I really like Kilo IDE as
Mhm.
well. So I especially like the specification spec driven, yeah,
Mhm.
approach. So the UI is easy to understand, and I think it's a great way for beginners to get started too, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think one important point is not only generating content, but also carefully reading and understanding the generated markdown files,
Yes.
right? So also instead of giving AI one huge task, and it's becoming more important to work step by step in smaller pieces, right?
Yes. Right.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. So oh, question in chatting. Let me know. Shall we first?
Is there any difference when using Kiro and GitHub Copilot on VS Code? Spec driven like cost, UI, UX tokens. I think we'll have to check about the costs. So there should be some different costs involved. So UI UX is almost similar, and tokens you'll have to check the documentation. For cost and tokens, you'll have to check the documentations. Then even with spec-driven development, but Kiro also generates some boilerplate code. How can we control it when using Kiro? In Even with spec driven, but Kiro also generates some boilerplate code. How can we control it? So it's basically about the prompt engineering. So how better prompt you are giving. So with the different prompts, basically the better prompt, you can avoid that. And in some steps, Kiro required to click on OK to continue or execute command. Is there a way to automate on Kiro? So there is, I think you can trust some of those commands it will add them in the file, so you can automatically uh, basically trust those specific commands. I think this answers your question, Charlie. And I use Kiro IDE and CLI. Love it. One question: use LLM is 4.6 or 4.7? So I'm not sure if 4.7 is available on Bedrock. We'll have to check on the AWS Bedrock if it is available, or if Kiro uses 4.7 at latest. So latest we'll have to check it. Okay, any more questions?
Nothing?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, let's give another big thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. So, and now let's move to the next speaker. So, Shabby, are you ready?
Yes, sorry, I had to unmute. I am ready.
Oh, okay, thank you. Can you share your screen?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Take it easy. Okay. Yes.
Oh,
Problem. Take your time.
okay.
Nice, nice
Everyone's
hoodie. Yeah.
okay. And is everyone able to view the slideshow?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Here you go.
So hi everyone. My name is Charvay Smith. Charvay Smith Taylor. I recently got married, so I'm still working on adding my new last name into all of my life. But hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you guys today. I am very grateful for the opportunity to be here. This is my first time doing something like this. So thank you all for just your presence, for your time, and just for listening. I work as a data analyst in the public sector realm. And I wanted to kind of share what AWS has been to my career journey in my path. It hasn't been the most traditional route, and there's been a lot of AWS throughout my journey that has helped me to kind of change the trajectory of my career. And I just want to kind of share that with you guys today. So what I'm going to go over is kind of just my story where I got started in AWS, the grant that kind of was the catalyst for me, and then the programs and community that have kind of led the way to being able to develop the skills to help back up my intrigue by AWS and all it had to offer. Then I'll talk about some of the things that I get to use every day in my career and what I do. And then just some kind of paths that I'm also interested in going on and paths that might help others based on what it is that you like to do. So a little bit about me. Again, my name is Charvay Smith, and I like to build systems for human empowerment. I am a very customer driven individual. I like to help my customer from the beginning of the process to the end of the process, and even remaining a support throughout the life cycle of working with my customers. I like to combine data and design and AI to help people reclaim their time, to elevate their confidence in using what they have in front of them, and to create a life that can scale with them. I think that's very important. Um, I'm also a mom. I have a 4-year-old daughter. And as a mom that works in tech, but also as an entrepreneur, I've learned how to take everyday challenges and create repeatable frameworks that can help grow. So today I'm just here to show how intentional systems, from just what rooms you're placing yourself in to what you're studying, can help transform the way that you work and the way that you show up in the world. So as I kind of stated already, I didn't really follow like a traditional tech pipeline when it comes to entering into AWS. Um, First for me was the AWS All Builders Welcome Grant. That was something that was, I think it was just a Google search. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I wasn't exactly sure. I had already gotten a associate's degree in IT technical support, and I had some help desk experience at that time. Um, but I'd gone to school for computer science and wasn't exactly sure what path I wanted to take to finish my degree. And so, in trying to figure that out, I did a Google search and found the All Builders Welcome Grant. And I think it was maybe a couple days before the application closed, and I just said, "Stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me, but we'll see what happens." And not to throw religion in there, but what I feel like I was blessed with the opportunity, because I felt like something like that wasn't meant for somebody like me. Like I, had my grandmother who was ill, and I was a caregiver for her. And just financially, I knew that a conference like that wasn't something that I at the time was able to afford. So and I'd never been outside of where I live. So that was also something that was like interesting for me. Like, wait, I get to leave Virginia. That's pretty cool. So that was kind of the catalyst for me. And going to that conference was like very overstimulating. There was so much to see. But it opened the door to the capabilities and the possibilities that AWS has to offer. And that was like my excitement. That's what was like, I got to put my hands onto the technology that was there, and it was an amazing experience. 100 out of 10 would recommend it to anyone who is willing to apply and take the opportunity to go to the conference, or save your money, put it on your wish list, ask your employers. There's so many ways to get to conferences. Um, and so that's something that I recommend. I also found out here in Virginia, we have a skill center, the AWS Skill Center, and it's not even an hour from my home. And once I found out about this through, honestly, word of mouth, I started going there and taking the courses that they offer for the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. And through that, I was able to build partnerships and attend networking events. And I built some amazing relationships with local technologists in the area, and other nonprofit organizations that were willing and working to help individuals get into tech careers. And I'm just forever grateful for all that the Skill Center has offered me in my journey. I know there's one in, I think there's Cape Town. They just recently opened one, and there's one in Seattle. And they also offer all of their courses and their classes online. And they offer them at all the different time zones. So something I would definitely recommend. Um, and the last two things I'll quickly brush up on, AWS New Voices was an opportunity that I was able to participate in to develop public speaking skills. And I'm forever grateful for that. And also AWS user groups, something like this where you're able to connect with others and learn along the way. I know that old phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I think it's definitely a combination of both. You have to develop the skills, but also being able to be in the rooms and connect with the right people, and seeing different perspectives. You never know what you don't know until you meet somebody else. So I kind of already touched on to these programs. Again, the Skill Center, it's an awesome opportunity if anyone is ever in this area or in an area where there is one. They have so many different hands-on labs, and the environment is great as far as all the displays that they have and hands-on activities there. And then the New Voices and the user groups are programs that anyone can look up online or in any of the community builder platforms to connect with people. Okay, so now on a day-to-day basis, for me on a day-to-day basis, so I work in a school system. We have almost 100,000 students, and we have about 96 schools. So it's a lot of data. There's a lot of information that we store and that we house. And we just recently moved over to a data lake. It's kind of interesting that the division so large was not utilizing a data lake for all of our data. And it was a realization that we came to that we had to move forward and innovate our processes for the sake of our integrity of our data. And so we now use Amazon S3 as our foundation for our data, for our data lake here in our district. And it's given us a central repository for all of our assessment and attendance and enrollment data across all of our schools. And we've also been able to automate all of our data drops from all of our systems. We have so many testing and other third-party applications that we work with to build a data profile for a student. And so we're able to automate those processes, and there are no other manual processes in working to transfer that data, which is amazing. And then we also have our raw and our process data layers that are maintained for our audit trails, so that we're able to look at the timestamps when things occurred and when things have changed, especially when we're looking at like our students who have um, uh, disabilities and when those things are changed, because that impacts a lot of things like funding for students. So it's very important that we have all of that data. We also are able to run SQL on to our S3 data, and we use Amazon Athena for our query engine. We don't have to use a server and we don't have to set up anything. And so we're able to get multiple years of information immediately. This is definitely helpful when we have our senior leadership who is looking for information right here, right now. In certain meetings and they don't have time to wait for us to go and develop something or query something. There's so many ways for us to get this information firsthand for them. And it's accurate, it's live, it's coming directly from our database, and that's been so helpful for our leadership teams. And then we can also identify patterns without having to move anything. So it's great that, especially because we have so many irons in our fire, we have so many different teams that work with our data. It's very important that we make sure that, again, the integrity of the data remains. So it's great that we don't have to move anything for everyone to access the same information. And then lastly, we have to make it look pretty. That's like my name of my game and what I get to do. And I know there's so much technicality behind that, but I love to kind of say that in a nutshell, especially when my daughter asks, like, what is it that I do? I get to make numbers look pretty and data look pretty. And that's kind of what we get to do with Amazon QuickSight. That's for our BI and our dashboards. And then we get to use these dashboards across our different departments and teams. Again, when we're having these all hands meetings or when we have lots of leaders that are that are specializing in different areas but are making a decision that impacts all of them. We're able to provide them with these dashboards where we can take the information that's important to each of them, bring it together so they can make a decision that is impactful. And that is very important, especially when we're dealing with the number of students and the amount of data and the amount of financial obligations we have to our students and our programs. And so this is just kind of like a big picture of like my journey and what I did and how I got to where I am. Most of the programs I participated in are what gave me the leverage and the confidence, honestly, to go for the job where I'm at. I started in my school district where I am currently, not as a technical role, but I started as a school registrar, registering students. That was at the time I was working on making my transition into tech. And I, at the time, honestly, I didn't think it was possible. Before all of this happened, I really didn't think it was possible. I kept trying and applying and trying and applying, and things just weren't happening. But I think we have to understand that things happen at the right time and on our time, and that's what happened for me. And I will forever preach that it's a combination of being patient, but also doing the work and being diligent in your search and your knowledge base and what you're willing to learn to get where you're trying to go. So I kind of just made some notes here, like for different journeys, like whether you're new to cloud, whether you're, in the midst of your cloud journey, or if you're more experienced in things that you can do, to kind of gain insight or figure out what pathway, cloud has for you. I guess for the sake of time, I guess my main thing is just to encourage everyone to continue to be a lifelong learner, to never get too comfortable in where you are. Don't be afraid to look up that new technology or ask someone what it is that they do, and it might spark something in you. You might be that piece of innovation that's needed to get something to the next level. So to just be sure to always learn and never be too comfortable. I have my cloud practitioner, and some next steps for me. I want to earn my solutions architect and my data analytics specialty. And then eventually I want to get the machine learning specialty. But this is just kind of where I'm at in my journey, and things that I want to look forward to, kind of back up the skills that I do on a daily basis, to get the certifications behind that. And that's all I have for you guys. This is my QR code for my LinkedIn profile if anyone wants to connect with me. I'm always open to having chats or, meeting up in groups like this. So I look forward to that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Shavi. Thank you for the wonderful session and for sharing your story with us. Thank you so much. So, oh, hands up. David, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. I really enjoyed Shabi's presentation. I have a question. I want to find out why you are using S3 instead of Redshift for your data lake.
So I don't get to make those technical decisions. Since we're an enterprise, I do what that team tells us to do. So I'm not sure exactly why those decisions were made. That's just what we do.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I have another question for you again. So, the All Builders Welcome Grant, is it available to people in other regions, or it's just the US region?
No, it's available to anyone in any region. I think that's kind of the beauty of it. It's to anyone in any region. I know I can't speak on what they cover currently with the climate of things at this time, but I know previously they were covering students that were coming from other countries to come over to the conference as well. So that I would definitely look into the grant and what they're currently offering, but I do know it was offered in the past for students in other countries, or not students, but just anyone from any other countries. You don't have to be a student either.
Okay. And how about if I want to speak at conferences and tech talks, AWS summits and things? Am I supposed to apply to the AWS Voices?
So AWS New Voices is something that's offered through AWS. So if you're welcome to apply for that. I also look at like LinkedIn for things. So I'll look up like, open for speakers or things like that on LinkedIn, and like user groups like this. Like that's how I was able to get through here, was by seeing this in a chat and looking for it. So I would also say to make sure that you're doing your part in doing Google searches, or looking at LinkedIn and looking for messages that are looking for speakers, because there's always opportunities to apply for things, to speak. Again, this is my first one, so I'm still getting my feet wet when it comes to that. But I do know that there's opportunities out there, especially like with searches, or even with like grants or opportunities for conferences outside of just AWS as well. Just to kind of search and to look, because it's out there.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brian. I'll reach out to you. I've sent you a LinkedIn connection request, and you too shall be. I've also sent you a LinkedIn connection request as well.
Great.
I'll expect that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, and there are questions in chat, question and comments. Eh, あ、Yes, from Jerry.
Oh, my hoodie.
I heard that you are studying for AWS Associate. I'm also studying. Do you have some tips? It's quite hard.
I'm just getting started, to honestly. So I've honestly just been looking through like all the different Discord channels, or forums and things, to see what others have been doing. I use LinkedIn for almost everything. So I kind of take to LinkedIn and search for like, what others have done, or what LinkedIn programs are out there that are about it too. So that's kind of my starting ground for it. Life kind of has been lifing a little bit, so I haven't been able to give it like the time that I've been wanting to study for it, but it's the next on my list. So hopefully this summer I can kind of dig deeper into starting to study. So maybe we should connect with each other. We can give each other some motivation to get through and to study for it, if you're open to that.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Thank you.
No problem.
You have a question? Nothing. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So
And
I
thank you for all the
also
kind
really
words, everyone.
okay.
Sorry. Thank you for the
Sorry.
kind words. And so,
Thank you so much. I also already love the AWS New Voices program. Yes, I like it. Yes, I think it's such a wonderful program, helping people grow and gain confidence. Yes, right.
yes.
Thank you so much. So,
Thank-
and honestly, some schools not having a well-organized data lake environment might actually be more common than we think.
Yes.
It's problem.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All right, then. Let's move to our final speaker for today. Thank you, Sharif. So, Brian.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for waiting. I'm ready.
I am ready. Let's go.
So,
Should just be able to see my screen. Oh, let me turn off the blurring from Zoom. Okay.
okay.
This will be fast. So, funny thing while I do this, because we had presenters talking about Kiro. I was going to include in this some live work with Kiro to show off my. Can you see my slide now next to me here?
Yes, but small.
That's expected. There's not going to be words on the slide, so I wanted you to be able to see my face, not the slide so much. I'll zoom in if anybody wants to see anything special. Um, so I was mentioning I worked with Kiro on what I'm going to show today, and just the tangent on humility and expectations when you're viewing online content creators talking about LLMs. So, Kiro, I have a Kiro Pro Plus account, two of them actually, which are $200 a month. And it's the 22nd of the month, and I've already maxed out both of those. So I think a lot of the time when people are online talking about AI, they just kind of talk like, oh, anybody can do this, and they don't get into whether it's actually practical for you as a garage inventor. So just a little bit of a tangent on AI. So yes, thank you, Hiromi, and the other speakers, and Yuki, and for sure the people attending today. In the chat or by reactions, if you could tell me, yeah, I'm sure you pay for some sort of monthly service, whether it's email or documents or photos. But if anybody in the chat would be, if you even know how many of these types of services you pay for every month, I'd be very curious to know. Um, so you might be hearing about OpenClaw and you might be hearing about Hermes Agent. These are these always on 24/7 agents. And supposedly they're these game changers for organizing your email and things like this. And the reason I'm sharing my whole screen here is to show you. I have this email. I'm old enough, it's a Hotmail address, right? And yeah, well, I'll get to just how much money being spent. This has actually been recently cleaned to zero, and you can see I already have just from today hundreds of emails. So this was in a state where I was getting about 13,000 new emails, and I've had this email address for 30 years. By the way, everybody, please connect with me on AWS Builder Center. I have all my social stuff on there, and I also have what I'm talking about on there, in here, on there. So I have had about 400 gigs worth of photo storage, which also was 20 years worth of storage. And I thought, okay, well, I'll connect this Hermes agent. So I spent a couple days setting this up. I'm fortunate enough to have a machine that's able to run some lightweight local learning models. And I got it set up and I said, okay, help me transfer these from OneDrive to S3. And it said, well, this is kind of a waste of the LLM. It told me. It said, you should really just use the API. I said, well, that's well architected. I can't really argue with that thinking. uh, so yes, Hiromi said, that's a lot of money. So SkyDrive was what Microsoft OneDrive was once upon a time. And I've had it since 2008, paid every month, at least $10 a month. So that's over $2,000 just on that one service. And if you're like me, you probably also have like a Netflix and an Amazon Prime. And so some years ago, I got to the point where I tried very hard to slim down to only the things I'm actively using. And over the years, I've tried to find ways to not be so reliant on this OneDrive service. But to be true, Microsoft's offered a really great cloud offering. I mean, this is why we are passionate about the cloud because they're able to offer so much services for a reasonable value that I would have lost these photos probably 15 times by now if I judge by my physical catastrophes I've had with devices over 30 years. So I don't mean to say it's not valuable, but I think we're all in that point in our societies where we're trying to slim down the number of companies we're paying monthly fees to. It's also, of course, the AI era, so I also wanted to be able to actually work with my files and label them and be able to edit them and start weeding out the ones that I don't want, which with 20 years of photos, let alone 30 years of emails, like, I mean, it would take me my whole life. But there's a problem with doing this. One is if you try to do it via the OneDrive user interface, it just fails. It fails a lot. So I would try to do it for anything, email, photos. Charlie, I see you squinting a little. You want me to zoom in? I don't know if that, oh, not really. Don't worry about it. I'm saying everything that's on there anyway. Um, So uh, when you look at these Hermes agents, right? When you look at OpenClaw, you'll see all this talk about how easy it is to hook into your Microsoft and your Google, your Gmail. But when you go to find it, Microsoft, similar to how AWS has IAM, there's a concept called Entra ID in the Azure Microsoft world, but they don't actually make that available for personal accounts. And over the last 4 years, while the business side's gotten more and more accessible, it's been the opposite for the personal. So they've taken away the ability for you to IMAP to your emails to pull them that way. They used to have a graph API. They took that away for personal accounts. And as I said, there's no Entra ID. And when I tried to do batch downloads, they'd fail. So this has been a thing I've been doing for years and years and years, trying to figure out how to organize or get these off, and it just always failed. But when Hermes told me, hey, this is maybe not a 24/7 model problem, it pointed me to a open source project utility called rclone. And to be honest with you, I don't know how I'm going to pull together 15 minutes talking about rclone because for a problem I've been struggling with for decades, this is like so easy to use. And the reason that rclone was able to help me with the personal account where I couldn't help myself is they're validated by Microsoft as a trusted application. So with rclone, what I was able to do, I'll just keep it on this for a second, is, sorry, I got distracted by this. So when the AI told me about rclone, I looked it up. And if you look for it on YouTube, the highest videos for one of these rclone videos is like 8,000 views, which is wild for something like photo storage transfer, which I looked recently in El Paso, Texas, which is a city of about 800,000 people, about how many people are searching for photo storage each month, and it's in the tens of thousands. So, like, the demand for this type of file storage is really intense. So, I'm kind of passionate to be talking about our clone because not many people apparently know about it, and I think it's crazy powerful. When you look at the docs here, you can see all the different services that you can OAuth into. This I can definitely zoom into for you. And of course, right here, you'll see Amazon S3, Dropbox, FTP, HTTP, OneDrive. It's just really stunning and very, very simple to use. Um, so I'll read this out a little bit for the sake of the screen share. Let me see if I can zoom way into. Um, so I actually, before I, well, first I set up a S3 bucket for storage of the photos. It's just, as an AWS head, I find that to be the most affordable, easy way to work with data. Um, and I have what's called the Bastion server, a very inexpensive EC2 that's available to securely allow me to connect my computers at home to these cloud services. And I tried that, and Kiro told me, oh, that'll be about 4 days. And I kind of forgot about it. And I checked back 7 days later, and it failed like 17% of the way through, which is just the way it goes for me on uh, those OneDrive transfers. So, okay, all right. So then I figured let's get a little bit more AWS on the job. If you know me, I hate containers. I'm a serverless guy. I like to do everything event driven. But obviously, if we're talking about needing a runner to keep something going for 4+ days, I've turned to AWS Fargate. Again, I had a little bit of a failure on my first run because I didn't account for the fact that, which again, I'm not a container guy, so this might be easy to change, but by default, there's a 2 gig memory limit on Fargate containers. Let's see, what else happened in that setup that you might be interested in? I mean, I don't know if you can see the command here, but it's literally rclone config create MS OneDrive, OneDrive type drive type personal. That last part's just kind of a label. And then I created something called AWS Archive, and I pointed it at my AWS account in region. And that was all it took to connect OneDrive to S3. But I use that ECS Fargate container to be able to keep it checking in and running to kind of have not a human in the loop, I guess a machine in the loop checking in on my transfer. So I didn't come back 7 days later to find it failed again. So what I did was I added something called checkered flags, which is very, very easy in rclone, literally just checkers. I added 16 of them at a time. So what checkers allow in rclone is the ability for the transfer to restart if it gets interrupted. So hey, no more days gone by and it's interrupted and I have to start all over and never get there. And also allows parallelism. I think it was Microsoft OneDrive that capped it at 8 parallel transfers I could do, but that was how I kind of handled it was 8 parallel transfers doing files, none larger than 64 megs. So if it was like a large video file, rclone would chunk the files into these 64 megabyte chunks. If a file failed, it would retry 5 times. I actually had no errors at the end of this all being done. It all went perfectly. The only thing that I wasn't able to automate was I had a personal vault on Microsoft that I did a vault style encryption on, which they don't allow even OAuth access to. And also the recycle bin. I needed to go in and empty out, but once I got this process done, that was crazy easy. It did store, I think I did store a log locally, but primarily I was using CloudWatch logs via my Fargate container to check some stuff out. And there you go. I did it. I went from 430 gigs down to 0.1 gig, which I don't even know if that's real. I think that's just the smallest number they show. And this unleashed AI. So as I mentioned, kind of one of the core concepts I had around this was being able to work with the data in more agentic ways. So when I got all my things out of OneDrive into S3, I just wanted to do a brute force check of whether this could be possible. And so I simply pointed Amazon recognition at all my files and said, hey, see if you can find me pictures from Las Vegas where I spent a lot of my life for business and cats. And it was interesting watching it work. I hadn't really used recognition in a few years. And so using so much AI around probability and language, it was interesting to watch recognition work. So it found pictures of Las Vegas by tagging them road, cityscape, urban, things like this. And it found, and it found that picture. And it actually found 500 photos for me, which 500 photos is 50 cents US dollars, half a dollar. And it found my cat buddy. It said, well, he's probably a cat, pet, kitten, furniture, this buddy. So it did it. And I haven't gotten to dive deeper with that. But I'm really excited to know that my data is kind of unlocked and organizable for the first time. So that was done. I thought, well, I have an old MacBook that is really performing poorly. It's not a Mac series chip, it's an Intel one. It doesn't have any graphics capabilities. And so, very simple things it's unable to do anymore. And I've never wiped it. So I thought, well, what a great opportunity to throw my MacBook files. And again, so simple. You got to make sure that you've turned your sleep mode off. There is a short command for that, but I did it via the Mac OS. so it didn't interrupt my transfer. And then you simply rcone copy, point it at the drive, and then point it at that AWS archive that I set up earlier with S3. And it did that in about half a day. And by the next morning, I had a MacBook that was performing better than it had in 5 years. So, yeah, just really exciting portability, very simple. This is not on par with like something you're going to see in a reInvent keynote from being technically difficult. I mean, couldn't get too much easier than our clone copy. The toughest part about using it is just figuring out the quirks of whatever the authorization system is on whatever you're trying to transfer to or from. So I started this out with costs. Cost wasn't really the point. Certainly, uh, as our other speakers talked about, there can be some great benefits to being involved in the AWS community, which can include credits. So when I look at these numbers, I'll probably never actually pay for these just because I do so many hackathons and things like that. And then as an AWS hero, um, yeah, surely I can pay for 64 cents out of those credits, which is what it took for that ECS Fargate and the rest of the architecture to run. Um, the monthly cost currently is $8.43. When I did the transfer, I set lifecycle policies on the bucket and the files. So after 90 days, if I don't say, hey, I'm going to use this photo on a website all the time or something like that, it's going to automatically move them into deep storage in AWS Glacier. And at that point, I'll be down to $2.53 a month. Again, I don't think this is really fair as a comparison to Microsoft because they offer so much more in terms of they also offer Copilot AI and Word and those types of things. But for me, I just have other solutions for those at this point in my life. And I'm also getting at a point where with so many years of photos, I want to get them all aggregated and into my own hands and get control of them. For the service, I'll say we because Kira was so heavily involved in this. We used AWS Lambda. Um, that was used to kind of um, do utilities for the Fargate. So if the Fargate found it was repeatedly needing to do some event function, like hey, check in on the transfer, I'd write a little Lambda function and have Fargate the Fargate runner call on it. CloudWatch logs to see if anything went wrong, but nothing did. Storage temporarily so that I wasn't reliant on an ephemeral stream, right? I was capturing the storage with Fargate, and of course had an OS on Fargate to make it run. Operating system, secrets manager for that authorization process, that temporary token, I stored it on AWS rather than my own computer. Just one less thing that I'll forget about and expose myself to some sort of security vulnerability. And simple notification service so that I would get an email when the transfer was done or if it had interruption. So when the one failed due to the memory limit, I got an email alert so I didn't find out, after the thing was done. Of course, CloudFormation, I didn't do Terraform or anything like that for sending up what I deployed. Took 10.5 hours to migrate from OneDrive on my final attempt, and it took under 5 hours for the MacBook Air. Yeah, any questions? I believe that's all I brought.
Thank you, Brian. That was fantastic. Fantastic sharing and really interesting session. Thank you so much. So I was completely pulled into the topic. Yeah. So, and yes, I'm definitely on the serverless side too. Yes. So, and my life, honestly, subscription management is becoming harder and harder. And even when I are cleaning things up, more service keep appearing. And now AI services are adding even more complexity. Very well. So, it's exciting to see new innovations, innovations, and better efficiency, but at the same time, so cost control and operations simplicity and becoming very important. Okay, so have
Yeah.
any yes, have any questions or
Da-
comments?
David?
David,
Thank you
go
very
ahead.
much. Thank you very much, Brian. I have a question for you about the movements of your archives from after 90 days, you are able to move it from S3 to probably a deep archive storage medium. I want to find out if you are using S3 intelligent tiering or you actually have something set up to automatically do that aside S3 intelligent tiering.
I decided not to do intelligent tiering because I had a lot of data on how I was going to use this, right? And I knew like there would be times where 3 years of my life would go by where I would never look into the OneDrive and actually organize it. So I knew the probability, especially before I unleash AI on it, of me actually going in and doing the organization is not smart. And I'm not currently going to host it for any website use, any of these photos. If I do, I'll probably move them to a different S3 bucket. So for this use case, I thought it was best to just automatically set a flag at 90 days to say, hey, if Brian, I do have a flag that if I touch it, it changes the clock. So that is kind of my bridge approach. But generally speaking, I just said, hey, after 90 days, throw it in the cheapest form of S3 possible.
Okay, thank you very much. And about the migration times, is there a way to speed up the migration time, probably using one of the AWS services instead of like, I mean, it looks like you have a longer migration time considering the large amount of data you have.
No, not on that particular. Well, I mean, you might have noticed that the sizes were not that different between my MacBook and the OneDrive, and the MacBook went faster. That's because OneDrive throttled the speed that I was allowed. There were when I first started it and I first looked at the speed, it was literally the speeds that I saw in my dial-up internet back in the 90s. It was in Ks, not Ms. So it was a very slow transfer. So it's really important on these to I've been very frustrated by it not being faster over the years. So it's very important to just say, look, it's better to have a slow transfer that gets done than something that fails that I'll be dealing with again in another 2 years. And so there's two things. I said no, there is a yes. I mentioned that I did parallel transfers. So I did 8 transfers at a time, and then I did 64 meg chunks. With the 64 meg chunks, what I did was I started with the largest files. The most painful, brutal parts went that were slowest went first, and then the process sped up as it went by. So those were some of the things I thought about in terms of speeding it up. And then most critically, that flag to keep the stream recoverable, because it doesn't matter how fast it is. At some point, when you're talking about 400 gigs, it's going to have a hiccup. And if the whole process fails, that's a real bummer. Thank you for the questions, David.
Okay, it's clear. Okay, and once again, Vix, thank you too, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's move on to our closing talk. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Uh, right. Everyone, we are almost at the end of today meetup. So before we close, please joining me in giving a big thank you to all of today's speakers. And thank you so much to everyone who joined today and staying until the end. So I'm really happy we could spend this time together. So with people from all around the world. Thank you so much. So today we heard many different stories and AI and career. Yes. So our experiences and our perspectives. And I think that one of things that makes this community so special. So to all of our speakers, thank you again for sharing your time, knowledge, and energy with us today. So you truly made this meetup meaningful and inspiring. And before so we finish, please feel free to share your social links in the chat if you'd like to stay connected after today. So if you enjoyed today's meetup, I'd really appreciate it if you shared with your friends or community too. So of course, if you are ever interested in speaking in the future, so please feel free to reach out to anytime. So let's keep running, sharing, and growing together as a global community. Thank you again, everyone. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again next month. Have a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. See you next time. See you next month.
Thank you again.
Thank you. See you.